Hey everybody, this is Mac Daddy. This is Grief Journal Part 4. Sorry if you hear planes going over. I live near an airport and I'm on the patio. So much is happening so fast. It's hard to keep up. In the last about week, I guess, pretty much her mobility has gotten a lot worse. So my grief journal is about the fact that I have two people back. Let me give you a caveat. Very close in my inner circle that are both dying of cancer at the same time, and 6 months ago, we also lost my sister-in-law to leukemia, and she was only 42, and it was very unexpected. So this seems to be 2020, a year of a lot of things that are tough, and for my wife and I, it's a year of grief and walking people we love through this death and dying process. And and now we are the main caretakers for a chosen family member, Alina, who lives with us, and like I said, we're her main caretakers. And then one of my closest friends, Drew, is also dying of cancer and in hospice care. They're both in hospice care at this point. So, but her mobility Alina's mobility has gotten worse. Last when we talked, we had a hospital bed delivered to the living room, and this week, she's having to use a walker once I can get her up. And we've learned a lot the last week on how to do things that help her be able to keep as much mobility as she can. But she's having to use a walker now to go to the bathroom, and her legs have gotten to the point, they're so swollen, first of all, and they're so heavy that she can't lift them up. When she walks with the walker, she just kind of slides her feet behind it, and so I have to, when she sits down on the edge of the hospital bed, I have to raise her legs and swing them up on the bed for her. If she has to get in the wheelchair for anything, I have to, she's not even able to lift her foot high enough to put it on the footrest on the wheelchair. I have to lift it for her. It's really devastating to watch someone that you love that's been so strong and independent lose this much control, and watch also the mental things that are going on with them as they know what's happening, and the frustration they have over it, and the frustration of having to have help to do the smallest of things. It's a hard journey, and I'm seeing her in a lot more pain, and we're at the place where the pain, oxycodone, and she's also on a fentanyl patch. The two of those together are not, about half of the time, they are not enough. And so the next step is morphine. And if you've ever walked anybody through this journey, you know what happens once you start down the morphine trail. You have to keep upping it until the person is just totally non-coherent. And I've been through this before with walking my Nana through this, but And we just did it with my wife's sister. Anyway, it's hard to see her in that much pain and not being able to find a comfortable spot, and yet, she's still trying to be present and trying to participate in conversation as much as she can. But I can read, and I watch her every expression, and I see what's happening, and that that's really hard. I mean, it's hard to want her out of pain enough to want to give her the morphine so that you see she's not suffering, and the emotional struggle of knowing that once I start that, I'm losing her. I'm losing the ability to communicate with her. That's so fucking hard. It's so hard. And it's a struggle to try to figure that out and the balance of that and walk this walk and hold it together and look, at them to try to give them some and encouragement, and when they do something you would have never thought of needing to give them encouragement for before. Yeah, it's difficult. And it's till later at night, once I get her tucked in bed and all that, I get a break. I get to come out and sit on the patio with my puppy and have a drink and just try to process it all. This week was especially challenging because my wife had knee surgery at the same time, so I'm running around taking care of both of them, and so it's I'm a tired guy, and yet I feel hurt, tired, sad. I feel a lot of times like a lot of people don't understand this journey and what this is like. I feel a protection of her from people that want to come see her and spend time with her that are energy takers at this time. I'm protective of that. It's a challenge, and it's really interesting to see the dynamic of how different people, when they come over to see her, how uncomfortable people are. A lot of people are, because they don't quite know what to say in a situation like this, right? We're not taught a class on how to handle grief and death, and yet it's something every single individual will face. The only way we learn is by watching those that are our parents and our family members and teachers that model it to us. And how many of us have had healthy models in this? So I always remember that as a teacher, which gives me more patience with people who come over right now and don't get it. But yeah, modeling how to handle grief. One thing is, you got to talk about it. All right, have a good night.